Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the second route of Night of the Lesbian Vampires. That is correct. Hello and welcome, Lynx here. Still sick, which I think you can hear. But I would say a little better than yesterday and the day before. Yeah. Actually, I think of those 3 days, counting with today, the voice might be the best today. Let us begin. I could skip, but you know what? Let's play the whole thing again. Yeah. No skipping. The brightness of the computer screen was killing me. The adjustment wheel was sticky, so I didn't dare to touch it. I resisted the urge to check the clock. I did not want to see how late it was getting. I had a stack of horror movies waiting for me at home, and my solo, totally not sad Halloween marathon was looking like it might be ruined. I had intended to sit on the couch, eat takeout, and watch blood and mayhem play out for my enjoyment on the screen. Instead, I was sitting at the desk, going over forms from our way to successful blood drive. Real blood was just not as fun as fake blood. I sighed. The night had gone quiet. All the nearby shops were closed and everyone was out at Halloween parties or trick-or-treating with their families.
Of course I can stay late. It's not like I have anyone at home waiting for me.
I sighed again. There was a small tapping on the window behind me. I turned around expecting to see an errant tree branch or bush. However, it was a woman instead. I was fell out of the chair trying to turn around to face her. She stood there, tapping gently and looking at me through the glass.
Trick or treat.
She said it slowly, enjoying every syllable. Her chest heaved as she breathed. She wore a tight corset with pink leopard print and had long, flowing blonde hair. Great, a drunk!
Ma'am, we are closed. Come back tomorrow. Sober?
I said the last part quietly. She grinned at me.
My darling, I assure you I am very sober. I'd love to get a drink. With you, though.
I felt the blood rush to my face. I had never been hit on so directly by a woman, and now there was one standing outside the window doing just that. Had I died of boredom? Oh. The choices start over here. Oh boy. So I guess in order to get the other route, because this one is the one that is already completed yesterday, I have to say no. Thanks, strange lady. I would like to say yes for once again, not gonna lie.
I am not interested in going out with strange women who tap on windows late at night.
Nah. Even if that woman was kinda hot. She's very hot, not kinda, it's very.
Please, dear one, let me come in.
Oh, I couldn't do that. We're closed. I started to explain, but there was a loud knocking at our front entrance. Damn it, what now?
Excuse me. I guess.
I walked away from the woman at the window and walked towards the front. It was Halloween. Why did I think I'd have a normal night at work? Closed or not? The front of our clinic was all glass, so I could easily make out yet another woman. She knocked on the door until she saw me, and then stopped. She pushed her glasses up her nose and then gave a harsh wave. She wore a baggy sports jersey over a pair of washed out overalls.
Greetings.
Oh, for freak's sake.
I'm sorry. We're closed.
I see that. However, if I could just come in for a moment?
Not suspicious at all, right? What? Why? I rubbed my cheeks. Why me? I should be bloated from salty junk food and laughing at ridiculous jump scares right now, not trying to explain our hours to strange yet attractive woman.
I'm sorry. We're closed.
Door knocker lady seemed to see something because she looked away and then scolded.
You're late, Carmilla.
The one from before walked around to stand beside the other. I guess her name was Carmilla.
I am not. I was trying to get in through the back.
There isn't a door back there.
No, but there is a window.
Yeah. She poured the words while looking at me, then turned back to the other woman.
I saw her first, Elizabeth.
So the other one was named Elizabeth, and they seemed to know each other. I glanced back at the computer. I still had so much work to do.
That kind of nonsense is not why we're here.
She looked me over slowly and then continued.
I think...
So, like I, said, we're closed.
They both turned their attention to me, causing a sensation similar to ice sliding down my spine. At their sudden attention, I cleared my throat and tried again.
You can come tomorrow morning if you'd like to donate some blood.
Yeah.
My love, we're not here to give blood. We're here to take it.
Excuse me?
Elizabeth sighed and pushed her glasses up the bridge of her nose. It seemed to be a habit she did often. At least this was the second time I had witnessed it.
Take is such a strong word. You see, we have an agreement with Claudia. Is she here?
I stood up a bit straighter, suddenly understanding what this late-night visit was about.
She doesn't work here anymore. She got fired because...
Well, I guess that's all the mystery of why she kept sneaking in here after we're closed. Blood had gone missing, but so had some medications and money.
You should both leave before I call my boss.
I crossed my arms, grateful the door was locked. It made it easier to stand tall and act braver than I really was. Carmilla frowned and placed her palm on the glass.
You wound me!
This is unfortunate.
She muttered something under her breath, but I didn't catch it. Carmilla seemed to have heard but didn't react.
I'm not letting you guys in so you can rob the place. So, shoo!
I waved my arms at them the same way I would get that overconfident raccoon off of my porch. It might work.
Rob the place?
I suspected Claudia was up to something. A shame.
No, I can't believe it. Sweet, innocent Claudia?
I had not known Claudia well, but those were not words I would have used to describe her. She was an old woman with a sour face, for not nearly as mean as she looked. For the most part she kept to herself. Who would have suspected she was robbing the place blind?
Shoo! Go on.
Shoo! I half-heartedly waved at them again. Maybe it would work the second time.
We are not stray cats, Miss...
Carmilla smiled sweetly at me.
Her name is Mina.
How did you know that?
Elizabeth peered closer at me and then pointed at my chest. I looked down. Name tag.
Miss Mina, we're merely asking for 1 bag of blood each. Only once a month?
You're telling me the other missing things were not because of you two?
Do I look like I need money?
Don't answer that. Carmilla scoffed and pushed her hair off her shoulder in a haughty movement. We know she
We were
doesn't.
unaware she was taking more than the 2 bags.
What did you want with the blood anyway?
Elizabeth's eyes widened and she shot a look at Carmilla.
Don't?
We're vampires, darling.
She opened her mouth a bit, and sure enough, she had two extended canines.
Ha ha. Very funny. It's Halloween. I'm pretty sure I have a pair of plastic fangs like that in my drawer.
Ooh, kinky.
She winked at me. Elizabeth let out a long, tired sigh.
I told you, no one will ever believe you if you just blurt it out like that.
Carmina shocked. Elizabeth turned and faced me, and gave me a small smile. I suppose it was meant to look reassuring.
She is right, though. We're both vampires.
Or are you? She opened her mouth and showed off her own matching sets of fangs. I nodded.
Is this a prank? Like, get a bag of blood and you're in? Or...
They looked too old to be in a sorority. I studied their faces for a moment.
For the sake of getting this over with, let's pretend I believe you. You're both vampires. Why should I just hand over some blood bags?
Carmina smiled and leaned forward, eyes half lit with a wide smile.
What if I say, please?
She poured, sliding her finger gently against the glass that separated us.
How about a deal? You give us this one-time supply, and afterwards we'll find another supplier. The thing is, we need some tonight. We don't have time to find another ethical source.
So?
If we don't get the blood here, we'll have to get it another way.
Carmilla sighed.
Ugh, she means we'll have to find a drunk human, lure them into a dreadful alley, and drink our monthly fill from them.
It's so unsanitary to drink a stranger's blood.
Yeah. Elizabeth and shook her head.
It also isn't great for the humans. Is that what you'd have us resort to?
Are you threatening me? Are you saying if I don't give you some blood, you'll go out and kill some unsuspecting partiers?
How ridiculous! We never killed them. At least on purpose.
I looked at them. They were both very pretty. But were they really mortal creatures of the night? And I'm supposed to just hand over some blood bags because of this bullshit?
Okay, prove it. Prove that you're vampires. I need to know for sure.
You can't be serious.
Prove it?
Prove to me that you're both vampires. Somehow. Fangs don't count.
Elizabeth rolled her eyes. I crossed my arms and used my most stern expression. Carmina frowned.
What? Like a dancing monkey at a carnival? How vulgar!
Fine. Open the door.
What? No way.
You want proof or not? We can't come in unless we're invited. You could always come out here if you prefer.
Oh yeah, that's true. You don't have to be afraid of a vampire if you don't invite a vampire. That's true. That is a rule after all. Funnily enough.
Oh, yes. Come out here with us.
Basically, vampires are clearly better than the invaders of the Western Europe, for example. That's right. I didn't love the idea of opening the door, but if they were vampires, they wouldn't be able to get in. And if they weren't, well, they didn't look that dangerous. Alright, previously I went outside, now fine, open the door, just that. I decided to open the door but would stay inside where I felt safer. With only a bit of hesitation, opened the door, stepping back, but ready to slam the door closed if they tried anything. They just stood there and didn't dash like I had feared.
Okay. Now what?
Elizabeth smirked. She grabbed hold of Carmilla, who looked confused and then very upset.
Don't you dare, you vile!
What? Elizabeth lifted Carmilla up off the ground as if she weighed nothing and then threw her towards the doorway. I expected her to sail through it, but she didn't. I gasped in horror. It was almost like a cartoon. Carmilla landed her hard against the opening instead of sailing through it like she should have done. It was like there was an invisible wall there. She slid down and landed on the pavement with an annoyed grunt.
Now do you believe us?
Carmilla stood up but seemed unshaken and uninjured. She glared at Elizabeth.
I'll get you back for that.
So what, like despite the open door there was still like a barrier? Because there was no invitations? I guess I had no choice but to believe them.
Okay, I believe you both. About the vampire thing. That is...
No, I don't get it. I think what I said kind of didn't make sense. Didn't she hit the window? No, there was the invisible wall. Okay, so... Alright, she opened the door. And in place of door, there was an invisible wall somehow. It must be because of no invitation or whatever. Dude, nice. Would be nice to have that ability with the Western Europe invaders. Right? Western Europeans? Gee, I hope Poland will not let those bastards in Poland.
That is wild.
Yes, yes. Now, can we discuss the blood? Please.
Definitely would rather have vampires than them. Right, if they were vampires, they needed blood. However, it would be risky. Our inventories were watched much closer after Claudia was caught stealing. For I was here alone and currently working with the inventory files. I could possibly mark 2 bags as contaminated for disposal and then might not check the numbers too closely, as long as it didn't become a regular thing.
Give me a minute to figure this out, okay? Just let me see if I can fudge the numbers or not.
Carmilla humped a little while Elizabeth adjusted her glasses again. I didn't want to leave them waiting too long. I went back to my computer and scanned the spreadsheet of donations I had been in the middle of processing before they came. Hell, there was still so much left to do. There was no way I would be able to finish it all tonight, even without any distractions. Right, time to commit a human error. I marked the next 2 entries as contaminated. Now to actually locate the bags. I stood up and walked briskly back towards the front. Carmilla and Elizabeth were still there, so I gave them a quick thumbs up. They only blinked in response. I smiled awkwardly. I tried not to notice Carmilla's cleavage and Elizabeth's posture. I mean, I didn't notice this posture as well. I wonder why. What was about someone's posture that could be so hot? Except, well, it's not. I say that, but we are going that route anyway. Carmilla was better. Freak, they were staring now. I turned away and headed towards the walk-in refrigerator. My mind was going to bad places. I had been single for too long. My lab coat was so thin it didn't do much against the coldness of the room. At least I knew what I was looking for. Found them. I went back to the front to show them.
I was able to get you 2 bags of blood.
Excellent!
That is fantastic, Miss Mina.
I handed over the blood to them, both of whom took 1 bag each with a smile. I looked back towards where my desk was. I really should get back to work, even if I was tempted to linger.
Well, it's been fun. See ya.
Vampires. Wow, if I had the chance to get to know one of them a bit better. This is painful. This is going to be very painful. I have to go here. I want to go to Carmilla again. Not gonna lie, she's the one. Elizabeth cleared her throat.
So, you still got lots of work to do tonight?
I sort of
And
do,
Carmilla
but I
evacuated.
think I'm going to put it off until morning.
Is that wise?
Yes and no. The boss wouldn't want me staying this late all by myself. She'd be worried about my safety.
I mean, again, depends where you live. In fact, she had specifically told me I should go home. About 4 hours ago.
Right. If you're about to leave work anyway...
That's a great boss!
Perhaps you'd like to join me for a drink?
That's a great boss! Yeah? Respect? Respect for that boss, not gonna lie. Never run into someone like that in my life yet. Maybe never will. I thought about the horror movies that were waiting for me, but how could they hold an appeal against a real-life vampire? Right here! Besides that, she was totally my type. The glasses, the sport jersey, those adorable freckles. Carmilla was the one, honestly. I smoothed the shirt, I wonder my lab coats, down a bit. Clean thoughts, Mina. Come on!
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I would like to get a drink. Just let me close everything up.
May I come in?
See? That's how it's done. I paused. She noticed my hesitation and lifted her hands innocently.
I'm just curious about the clinic. You can say no. I am happy to wait for you here.
I thought over for a moment. She had the blood. She seemed friendly and genuinely curious. There was no inner voice trying to warn me. In fact, it was very adamantly encouraging me.
Alright, come on in. Just don't touch anything. I don't want to get fired.
I watched to see if anything exciting happened when I verbally allowed her inside. It did not. No sparkles or music. She just stepped inside as if the barrier had never been there to begin with. For it clearly had. I tried not to be disappointed. She followed me to the back room, quite taking in everything around her as she walked in. Was she looking at me? I was glad I wore my favorite shirt today. I set the computer and started to close down the software, making sure to save my progress.
This is not at all what I imagined.
What do you mean?
What did you imagine?
I guess I thought there would be blood on the floor and restraints to hold people down.
Lady, this is 1997 and not Middle Ages. I looked up at her horrified.
What?
She laughed.
I'm kidding. I just thought it would look more like a hospital. This looks more inviting.
Yeah? Probably. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I feel like I've never been to a place like this. Yeah. I chuckled. I should not have fallen for that so easily.
Oh, I really thought you were serious. Maybe I watched too much horror.
A bit.
You like horror movies?
Technically, watching doesn't equal liking them.
Yes, I love them.
What is your favorite one?
I paused and had to take a deep breath. How could I pick? Night of the Living Dead. Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't know. She's a vampire. Let's go with Dracula.
I always thought vampires were pretty cool.
I felt a bit embarrassed admitting it, but Elizabeth only smiled reassuringly.
The Dracula movie that came out a few years ago? It's so over the top and cheesy. I love it. I think it's the best adaptation I've seen. There's also the fact I have the same name as one of the iconic characters.
Is that so? I chuckled. What a funny coincidence. She grinned.
I'm quite fond of that one as well.
Really?
I've always really enjoyed movies.
What's your favorite movie?
That's not an easy question. She stared at me for a moment and then looked away. She seemed to be thinking it over and her brow creased.
I can't pick. The last one I really liked was Romeo and Juliet.
Ugh.
It was stylized, and I've always enjoyed takes on Shakespeare.
Ugh. I gasped.
Were you alive in Shakespeare's time?
Elizabeth laughed and shook her head.
No. Oh, wow. Do I really seem that old?
I thought all vampires were hundreds of years old.
I shrugged and rubbed my arms on my pants.
I am probably only a few years older than you, actually.
What?
So you're a new vampire?
Basically. Are you disappointed?
A new generation.
I was only turned a few years ago, just before I finished my bachelor's.
No, of course not. It's just interesting to learn more about you.
She blushed. She totally blushed. Her eyes widened a bit and she turned away.
What did you study in college?
Marine biology. I'm working on my master's degree currently.
Wow. Wait a second. Isn't this what a certain Kujo Jotaro also studied? He was a marine biologist, right? Or am I making things up? Jojo Leon. His place in Joestar bloodline is taken over by the 29-year-old marine. Wait, Kira was a surgeon? No. No way. Marine biologist, yeah. Alright. I don't know why I tried to do it. Wait, this does make sense. Dude, Wikipedia is so garbage lately. Why doesn't it write about the Jojo Leon and Yoshikage Kira when Kira was... I believe in Diamond is unbreakable. Actually, I'm sure of that. Whatever. In-universe information. Occupation. Marine biologist. Yeah. I wonder if she was influenced by... Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Let's see. Diamond. Okay, the manga was 1990 to 1995. Got it. So maybe she was influenced by JoJo. Again, let's not forget, in game we have 1997, so hey. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she was into Kujo Jotaro. And that's why she's she wants to be a marine biologist as well. Weird theory. Oh no, wait, she couldn't be into him because she's a lesbian, but still, maybe that's where she got the idea. I don't know.
Wow, that's really cool.
It is,
What are
yeah.
you planning to do after you graduate?
become a marine biologist? I mean,
I'd like to be a professor, or focus on ocean life research. I'm particularly interested in sharks.
okay.
Sharks?
Like Jaws, but I didn't say that. I had heard the movie wasn't popular among marine biologists because of the backlash it had created against sharks. Her eyes lit up, and I could tell it was something she was passionate about.
Did you know that sharks have skin that feels like sandpaper? Tiger sharks might be my favorite. There is still a lot we don't know, though. Like, they will eat anything, even license plates.
Wow.
Goblin sharks are not only pink, but they are also considered living fossils. They were thought to be extinct until 1898.
Goblin sharks. Ugh, disgusting. Don't Google it. Don't Google goblin sharks. Ugh.
Sharks have existed practically unchanged for something like 400 million years. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
There is like a crazy long living shark still around, right? 272 years. The Greenland shark. Oh, never mind. In 2016, they found a Greenland shark that was 400 years old. Huh. I mean, that's still crazy amount of time. I should have the computer that took all the keys to look up.
I'm done here. So, where did you want to get a drink? I'd love to hear more shark facts.
She was so smart. I love listening to her talk and really want to hear more. I've never known anyone who was into marine biology before. Same.
There is a place that's pretty awesome, just don't tell Carmilla I said that.
It's her bar, isn't it? She pushed her glass up her nose and grinned. I wasn't sure why I would tell Carmilla or why it would matter if I did, but I was happy to oblige.
Okay. Let's go.
We headed outside. I looked up and Elizabeth got us a cup to bar. Bloodlust. Yeah, this is Carmilla's bar. I'd never gone inside before, but I had heard plenty of rumors. Mostly about it being a gay bar, but now I wonder if there was more to it than that. It was pretty crowded inside, but she managed to lead me to a quiet corner. It had a really nice atmosphere for...
This place is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tell Carmilla.
What?
Because you said I shouldn't,
Right, yeah.
We fell into an awkward silence followed by loud alternative music. I like it. I had suddenly forgotten how to hold a conversation. I'd never been good at dating, and it had been a long time since I'd been one. I tried to think of something really smooth to say, but couldn't manage it. Observe what's happening around you and talk about that. I'm so glad I'm good at that, at least. I'm terrible at coming up with topics on my own, but you know, if you observe what is happening around you, you'll always find something to talk about.
I like this song.
Same. She pointed at the ceiling.
yeah, it's great.
Awkward! She smiled and glanced at the bar.
Let me buy you a drink. What would you like?
Good idea. Something to do with my hands right now might help me cool down.
Thank you. I'll have a...
Oh, it's different ones. Interesting. Old-fashioned, Blood Mary, Virgin Mojito, Sex on the Beach, Dark and Stormy, Tequila Sunrise, Cranberry Juice, Painkiller. Let's go with Tequila Sunrise, why not?
It's my go-to drink at unfamiliar bars.
They're very pretty to look at. Not quite the same as the real thing, but it'll do.
They taste pretty good, too.
All right, I'll be back with a drink.
Only one? She left and I took a deep breath. This was going well, right? I thought so. Did she look bored? No, probably not. Technically, she invited you, so... In a way... It's her who should be worried if you are bored. Not the other way around. The changed location had messed up the flow of our conversation. Or maybe I was just nervous here in the bar. It felt more like a date. We should ask her more questions when she gets back. I glanced out in the crowd and saw her carefully making her way through it. She has the tequila sunrise and nothing else. I suppose vampires only drink blood. She returned and handed me the drink. I took a careful sip. It tasted great.
That was fast.
She shrugged as if it was no big deal.
I know the bartender.
That might explain why she didn't have to wait as long as everyone else who were all gathered around the bar.
Really? That's cool.
It's Carmilla, isn't it? Okay, now's your chance to get to know her. Just think of a really insightful question and...
I don't want you to think I come here all the time or anything.
Nyeh.
Huh?
I mean, I like bars. You know, every now and then.
Yes.
But I prefer a quiet evening at home, you know?
Yes! Then again, there is no good bars in my area.
Oh, sure. Me too.
Unless they opened any, but I highly doubt. Yeah. It's just restaurants. Which is... wait. What's this? Oh, I know what this is. Nah. Thought to be fair, it looks decent inside, surprisingly enough. The outside is not very alluring though. Are you kidding me? They play Scrabble there? Let's go. They are only open on Fridays and Saturdays? Jesus Christ.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I like to watch horror movies, order takeout, and hang out with my rats.
She grinned at me. I kinda had a feeling this wasn't her typical hangout, but I didn't want to say anything.
I didn't know rats were a common pet.
Rats.
They are actually the best pet. They are wicked smart, and you can train them like a dog.
I guess? Maybe? I don't know.
They can play fetch and run obstacle courses. Also, hamsters are assholes.
She burst out laughing, covering her mouth, perhaps to hide her fangs.
Are they really?
I don't know.
You are way more likely to be bitten by a hamster than a rat.
Is that so? I have no clue. What I do know for is when I was younger, my cousins had 2 hamsters. And I don't know, we were playing on the good old Pegasus console, right? And their mother, so my aunt, decided to do a funny prank and put a hamster on my... like on my kind of collarbone area, sort of. And you know, the moment I felt something moving, I just, you know, grabbed it and smashed it. Maybe not very strongly, but I still smashed it to the ground. I'm like, oh shit, that was a hamster. Yikes. Luckily nothing happened to the hamster. But still, I would suggest not do that. If doing something like that, like putting a hamster on someone not expecting that to happen from behind the back, don't do it. Anyway.
Do you have science to back this up?
She smiled as she said it, and I couldn't help but notice how attractive she was when she was amused.
Not really, just personal experience. Rats are seriously underrated though. Mine are so sweet and cuddly.
I would not want a rat, not gonna lie. Dogs are good. Dogs are enough for me. I did not need to go to into the evil hamster I had as a pet when I was a kid. Ooh. I'm sure some of them were actually cute and nice, but I'd need to see it to believe it.
I trust you. I'd love to meet them sometime, if that's alright. See for myself.
I smiled down my tequila sunrise, trying to ignore the way my heart was fluttering in my chest.
Yeah, totally. They're very friendly to new people.
Now, is that really true? I cleared my throat and tried to play it cool. I took another drink and tried to think of something not uncool to say. Elizabeth spoke before I could.
What else do you like? Besides rats and horror movies?
Woman. She smirked and took a few small steps closer to me, probably to hear me better. The music was pretty loud. Musicals! Vampires.
Vampires are pretty awesome.
She bit her lip and glanced away. Ooh.
You're pretty cute, Mina.
Nyeh. I rubbed my arm feeling embarrassed. I hadn't meant to say it, but I was glad I did. Now if only I could be brave again, but on purpose.
I think you are too.
She grinned and took another step closer. She reached over and tucked a stray hair behind my ear. She was so close I could... Why did the music stop playing? She was so close I could smell coconuts. Was it her shampoo?
I'd really like to kiss you, if that's okay.
Woman, you barely met her like 20 minutes ago. Come on. She glanced down at my lips, and I felt my heart go from racing to full-on panic. I nodded. That was definitely okay. She leaned in for a kiss, and I wrapped my arms around her shoulders. My mind went blank as I felt the brush of her fingers just under the fabric of my shirt. We kissed until I felt like my knees would give out, and then I pulled away. I thought they were sitting. She began to kiss my cheek and then nibbled on my earlobe. I gasped at the way it felt and suddenly wondered if there were eyes on us. If there were, did I care? I felt the wetness of a tongue on my throat and that stopped me cold. I tensed desperately anticipating what might come next, but Elizabeth pulled away.
Oh, I wasn't going to bite you.
She who looked concerned. Maybe she thought my reaction was from fear.
You weren't?
I smoothed down my shirt. I could still feel the gentle way she had caressed me.
Did you want me to?
Oh,
At that moment I had, which was a bit odd, I never wanted someone to bite me before. Was it because I knew she was a vampire?
I can if you'd like.
I felt my face growing incredibly hot. Now it just felt awkward. Still.
would it hurt?
Of course it would hurt.
It only hurts for a moment at first, and then it actually feels pretty nice.
Yeah, right. She pushed her glass up the bridge of her nose.
I believe something in the fangs or saliva activates when it's mixed with blood that causes a euphoric effect, similar to morphine.
Oh.
Oh, let's do it then! That's how it sounded. That was fascinating. Were their fangs hollow? Was it a chemical in their saliva?
Additionally, the saliva causes the blood to be thinned, so it flows easier. However, if I lick the wound, it'll close quicker than normal.
Okay.
What an interesting reaction.
I know! I'd like to study it, but most vampires don't really care about the phenomena. They're just happy it works.
Yeah?
They tell me to just pretend it's magic. Ha!
Hell yeah.
Oh, I wonder if it's like leeches or ticks.
Did you just compare a vampire to a leech or a tick? What is wrong with you? She made a face.
Yeah.
She chuckled and blushed, rubbing the back of her neck.
Not great date talk, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
What do you mean it's fine? You just messed up! We both fell quiet, and I found myself looking at her lips again. I should resist. I want to talk to her more. Who knows if I would ever be near a vampire again?
I'm actually very curious about vampires.
You have questions?
Can you really not enter a place without permission?
I mean, you've seen... She nodded.
You saw for yourself.
Yeah.
When you threw Carmilla?
Yeah. I chuckled, remembering the way she had looked squished against an invisible barrier.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I can't explain the science behind that either.
Fascinating.
Can you go out during the day?
Nope. I would burst into fire, then I would turn into ash. At least, that is what I've been told. I've never seen it, and I don't want to test it.
I would want to test that.
I don't blame you.
It was almost as if I had found a kindred spirit, someone to discuss things scientifically with, and who didn't mind when I rambled about things. She rambled too, but I enjoyed it. We spent most of the night talking. She told me about vampire squids and jellyfish. I told her about obscure, underrated horror movies. It was exhilarating to speak so passionately with her about things we loved. Eventually I started to feel my entire body screaming at me to sleep. I knew I needed to get home, even if I didn't want the night to end. I finally had to say my goodbyes and head home. I really hope I would get to see her again. 1 year later! I was staying late to do paperwork again this Halloween, but this time I had someone keeping me company.
This software's interface looks so ugly.
Literally every interface in any company in the world. They just can't design something user-friendly.
I know, but my boss likes it.
Okay. Interesting. She gave up on looking over my shoulder and began to pace around the room. She looked everything over. She was careful not to disturb anything, but no matter how many times she had been here, she remained curious. It was probably the scientist in her. When I thought she wouldn't notice, I glanced up to watch her. Normally being around her was relaxing. This past year, we had grown comfortably close. However, tonight was very different. I wanted to ask her to move in with me. Oh! I'd even gone out and bought some heavy curtains and blinds. She might say no, though. Maybe it was too soon. Maybe not.
Are you alright? You look really frustrated.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I tried to smile. She turned away to look at me, some fainty signs we had hanging up.
This place doesn't pay you very well, does it?
Which pays very well in this year. Actually, in 1997, it would probably be a good payment. But the problem is now in 2025, it would still pay the same amount. I snorted.
No.
There were some months where I struggled, but I made do. She knew that. As a student, even a vampire student, she was in a very similar situation. She did have a part-time job as a research assistant and sometimes worked in the university's library. Gee, I would like to work in a library. I don't know why. Sounds good to me, to be honest. It paid about as well as my job for.
I was thinking...
Yeah?
Between my income and your income...
Oh, she's about to still the question you wanted to ask her. I stopped what I was doing and gave her my full attention. She pulled absently at her ear.
I was just thinking... It might be beneficial if we moved in together.
Let's go. So basically Carmilla is also... Well, you could say... better prepared for life. Given the fact that she had a bar and so on. I couldn't believe it. I stared at her, mouth hanging open. I had been so nervous for so long and she just came right out and said it.
Oh, I guess that wasn't a very romantic way to put it. There are romantic intentions as well, of course. This past year with you has been... It's been just amazing. I like the idea of waking up together and having meals together and... Maybe you don't think so.
I smiled. She was frowning. I needed to explain. I hadn't meant to give her the impression that I wasn't fully on board with the idea.
No, it's just that I was actually planning to ask you the same thing tonight.
Huh?
Really? To move in together?
She closed the distance between us and bent down to meet my gaze where I sat at the computer. The gloom she had earlier was completely gone. I turned away from the computer, wanting to face her fully.
Yeah.
Great minds, huh?
No. She kissed me gently and then pulled away.
I don't want to distract you. I know you have a lot of work to do.
I shook my head. If the equipment wasn't so expensive, I'd show it off the desk to prove that I would choose her over work. Instead, I saved and shut down the software in a less dramatic gesture.
I am done with work.
I shut the computer down and stepped away from the desk. I grabbed the keys so I could look the place up as I went. Then I turned to Elizabeth and clapped my hands together awkwardly.
Let's get out of here.
I took off my lab coat and she followed me into the waiting area of the clinic.
Will you sleep in my coffin with me?
What?
Coffin?
Huh? I squeaked. I looked over at her and knew she had tricked me again. She laughed. I should have known better. I'd been to her apartment. There was a normal bed. I laughed with her.
I don't know. Maybe they're comfortable.
I mean, they look comfortable overall.
It's too morbid to even think about.
She shuddered, for she was still laughing.
I was also thinking, if you ever wanted to be a vampire too.
I had reached for the door, but stopped. My hand hovered near the handle. It was something I had considered before. She was a vampire and I was a human. How long could that possibly go on? I would age and she would stay the same. I needed human food and she only required blood. There were benefits to being a vampire, but there were drawbacks too. There had been so many things to consider, and it had always been something we avoided discussing before. Something that would occasionally hang over us, creating an awkward silence. I answered carefully, because in truth I didn't really know what I thought about it all yet.
Yeah?
I would turn you into a vampire if you asked.
I studied her expression. Did she want me to be a vampire? Did she like me better as a human?
I'm glad you would, but what do you think? Would you like me better if I was like you?
Shook her head and stepped closer to me.
I adore you the way you are, and that wouldn't change if you become a vampire. I will be happy if you are happy. It's also your body and your choice. I won't take that from you. I only offer so that you know that I'm willing.
Okay, that's okay. I threw my arms around her. She always seemed to know what to say. She kissed the side of my head and I took a deep breath.
I want to think about it more.
Correct approach. And it's not like you're in a rush. You're young still. I pulled away so that I could look at her.
I want to consider things carefully. Weigh the benefits against the negatives, you know?
How scientific. I approve.
She smiled at me and I assumed, prepping the door so that we could leave.
I figured you would.
I chuckled. I locked the door and we headed out into the night. I'd found something in his bed that was rare and precious. We had a connection that I'd always dreamed of. I loved her in a way I had not thought possible. Someone who truly accepted me and appreciated the things in me that others found annoying. In turn, I felt the same way about her. Hand in hand, we headed home. To our home. The end. Let us once again have a look at the credits. Was there some kind of scene previously after credits? Didn't I recorded the previous episode yesterday and I already don't remember? Well, we'll find out in a second. Ren'Py. Something expressions of Mina, something. Whatever. No, there is nothing afterwards. Oh, sadly there is no gallery here as well. But yeah, Night of the Lesbian Vampires. You know the drill. Link to the game is in the description. A game by Jaime Scribbles Games. Surprise, surprise. First time ever we played a game from this developer. Is that a surprise? Or is it not? I have no clue. What I do have a clue about is... this was a pretty decent game. Not gonna lie. This was decent, yeah. Wait a second. I'm bookmarking myself the website. Because I'm weird and I actually bookmark the websites of developers. Even though I never go to those websites. Okay. Jesus Christ. I'm so sleepy. And again, it's because I'm sick. Wait, was this game on Steam? No, but the other ones are. Why is that, you know, why is that Lesbian Vampires? No, not on Steam. It should be on Steam. Whatever. Well, to be fair for, I think the other stuff will not be playing because the other stuff looks like otome games, so basically sign me out. Wait, did I say otome? Yeah, I think I did say otome. I actually don't know if it's otome or straight up BL. But, well, one or the other basically sign me out. I'm satisfied with what we've played, basically. Good game. Carmilla, my favorite vampire, that's for sure. I mean, definitely an interesting meeting of vampires. When you basically work in a blood facility, whatever you would call that institution, and vampire just knock on your door and window when you are doing overtime. Hey, could you give us like 2 bags of blood? a little comedic, but also, I mean, cool. Pretty cool. 1997. Man. 1997. Would be nice to go back to that time. I was still young and had some future prospects. But yeah, I think Carmilla was like basically more my type. I wonder why, right? Huh. The looks, definitely. Probably the personality as well. She seemed more outgoing and so on. While Elizabeth, I think she was also a bit... a bit not very, like, outgoing. But again, there is also the option of not being super comfortable from the very beginning around the person you just met, sort of thing. So I kind of understand that part. 'Cause I too like require a little bit of time to get used to someone and so on, to like properly hold convo or whatever. This was done for Spooktober 2020. Wow. We really did go back in time a little bit with the game. But that is fine. That is fine. There is a few more like this. Maybe we'll even have something older. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it is a possibility, to be quite honest. But that is for the future me and future you to find out. Honestly, I don't have the brain right now to make even a proper summary or anything like that. Not like my summaries are ever any amazing, but right now my mind is only on go get a tissue and blow your damn nose. Also go and get some medicine, yeah. All in all, for quite interesting that Elizabeth had the career path of Kujo Jotaro in front of her. Interesting that she was still a student. Struggling student, I guess, in a way. Because money. And Mina, well, in supposedly not a very well paid job. Actually, now that I think about it, it's a blood bank, right? How much do you earn in a blood bank? 21 bucks. That's the average, supposedly. I mean, it's not bad, right? What's the minimum wage in the US? $7.25. Okay. That's basically almost, well, you can say basically that's 3 times the minimum wage. I know I'm looking at 225, but I would imagine in 1997 it would still be quite decent then, right? Do know. I mean, right now it seems decent for. I mean, 3 times the minimum wage. Sounds good to me, to be honest. Sounds good to me. So I feel like Mina should be safe, even on her own. And well, Carmilla, well, she definitely will be, right? Seemed like her bar was doing very good, the Bloodlust. I'm kinda wondering that how she mentioned when it comes to her like leaving that every decade she would move. I wonder if she closes the bar here and maybe opens it in a different location and so on. And that's how she keeps rolling around and so on. For I guess she lives with Mina in her own route as of now. Anywho, that was interesting. Makes you wonder a little bit of a scenario of, you know, you run into a vampire. Let's assume a very attractive, obviously. What's your decision from that point onward? It might be interesting to give it a try, right? Again, it's a sort of, I guess, fantasy world. You know what? You can tell me yourself what you would do. Let's say you run into Carmilla or Elizabeth, whoever you prefer yourself. Let's say you hit it off. You date. Do you stay a vampire with that person? Huh? Do you turn into vampire and, you know, I guess stay for eternity like that? Together? Would you do that? Tell me that in the comments, yeah. And when you're done saying that, consider liking the video. Even though, well, I was sick, so it might not be like the greatest. And if you're new around, consider also subscribing. Always super appreciated. And well, there will be more games, I guess. Yeah. With that being said, hope you all have a wonderful day. Hopefully, if you run into a vampire, it will be a peaceful one. And that's about it. Time to end the video. Bye.